Welcome, everyone. Thank you for participating in today's Home Performance Counts virtual green home tour. My name is Chelsea Doubleday, and I will be your NAHB host today. Today, the tour takes us to Ridgefield, Washington to see the Gladstone of Urban Downs by Urban Northwest Homes of Vancouver, Washington. Home Performance Counts is a joint initiative of the National Association of Home Builders and the National Association of Realtors. You can learn more at www.homeperformancecounts.info. Please note that this session is being recorded and will be uploaded for on-demand viewing on nahb.org in the next few days. Please note this session is copyrighted by the National Association of Home Builders and is intended to provide complete and accurate information on the subject matter covered as of the time of publication. I'll give you a moment to review the copyright and disclaimer statement. Today's learning outcomes are explore how the green building strategies and features of a home can impact its comfort, health, efficiency, and durability for the families that live in them. Discuss how to communicate green and high performance features to clients in a relatable way that increases customer interest and understanding. Recognize the advantages of a strong builder-realtor relationship in realizing the value of green in your next sale. Today's tour is just over 15 minutes and will be led by Jared Martin, co-owner of Urban Northwest Homes. Jared is joined by Ashley Mawala, broker with the Heather DeFord group of Cascade Sotheby's International Realty. Jared and Ashley are joining us and will be taking questions after the tour, so be sure to drop your questions at any time during today's presentation using the Q&A feature next to the chat button at the bottom of your Zoom window. Both the questions addressed during Q&A and any that we do not get to will be summarized in the PDF and available in the replay library with today's content. Now it's time for the tour with Jared and Ashley. Enjoy.
Hi, this is Jared with Urban Northwest Homes.
Hi, I'm Ashley, realtor in Southwest Washington.
We'd like to welcome you to our Gladstone floor plan here in the middle of Ridgefield, Washington, which is an NGBS rated Emerald floor plan. We're very proud of it. Come on in, let's go have a look. Our single level Gladstone floor plan features 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and a 3-car tandem garage with plenty of room for a shop. An abundance of windows and 10-foot and even 11-foot ceilings and spacious hallways create a light and airy feel. The open kitchen, great room, and dedicated dining nook make an excellent layout for entertaining, especially when combined with a butler's pantry with a built-in wine fridge. The large covered patio with a built-in gas grill offers great outdoor space for entertaining as well. The master suite features a spacious master bedroom, a large bathroom, with a freestanding soaker tub and a beautiful walk-in shower. Finally, the master closet is perfect for keeping large wardrobes organized. Aside from being third-party verified at the Emerald level, which is the highest level of the National Green Building Standard, our home is breaking new ground by being the first home in the state to earn the NGBS Green Plus badge for wellness, and the first home ever to earn the Universal Design badge. These badges, recognized by Home Innovation Research Labs, allow homeowners to take their homes above and beyond in one of 6 categories of green. We started Urban Northwest Homes in 2008, really with the mission of building more responsibly. Over the years, we've found that taking that holistic approach to green building and not just focusing on one component such as energy efficiency, but focusing on everything that the home has to offer is more important. And in the end, you get a much better above code built home as compared to our neighbors or our competition. In the future, our goal is to build many more NGBS third-party verified homes, not just in our community right now, but throughout the state and really throughout the Northwest. The NGBS Green Plus Universal Design Badge really focuses on accessibility and mobility throughout the home. And it's not just for the homeowners, it's also for visitors who come and visit the homeowners. So as you can see, coming through the front entrance, there's a no-step design, so there's no barriers to get in and visit or in to use the home. As we go down the hallway, we have a nice wide hallway so that the homeowners or the visitors can access the great room, and there's also full access to an accessible bathroom in the house. One component of the Universal Design Badge is having an accessible bathroom. So if you notice, there's no barriers underneath this sink, so someone with a wheelchair or somebody with a walker can easily access the water to clean up after they use the bathroom. A great example of a healthier building product that we use in the indoor finishes is marmoleum. And marmoleum is made of jute, wood flour, and linseed rosin, and it's 97% natural and biodegradable. And it performs very nicely in a bathroom setting such as this. Another component of the Universal Design Badge is having a nice wide hallway to access great room, living, entertaining area. People come over with accessibility and mobility challenges. They can easily get around our great room area. Secondly, we have a barrier-free outside entertaining area where people with mobility challenges, again, they don't have to navigate any stairs to come outside if you're entertaining outside. Another feature of the Universal Design Badge, if you notice right over here, we've got rocker-style switches for all of our electric switches. Wide hallways, they're easy to get through, 3-foot wide doorways, and lever-style handles, so people with maybe challenges of grasping, they're easy to operate. Moving through into the master bathroom, again, a nice wide door with the lever handle. One feature of the Universal Design Badge that most people wouldn't notice or wouldn't know about at all is we've got plenty of wood backing, all at the right heights for future grab bars or future handles. So if you ever develop a need or you do develop mobility challenges, you can install those grab bars and those handles without doing a big remodel to your shower. The other NGBS Plus badge that we earn for our home is the Wellness Badge. And what the Wellness Badge focuses on is the indoor environment of your home. It's a holistic look at what's going on with the finishes, the humidity, air circulation, off-gassing, and basically just everything that's inside your house. In our house, we chose to use finishes, sealants, and adhesives that have 0 or very low VOCs. And VOCs are volatile organic compounds. We all know what those things are. There's toxins in your house that just aren't good for you. So in fact, the EPA says that the air inside your house is 2 to 5 times worse than the outside air. So it's really important to holistically look at what's going on inside your house and what's in the air that you're breathing while you're in here. Aside from looking at our finishes and the VOCs or no VOCs that they have, another way that we really achieve that superior indoor air quality is exhausting the stale air and introducing fresh air as often as possible. The way that we do that efficiently is through the use of a heat recovery ventilator, which is located in here. This unit is an efficient way to bring that fresh air in, to exhaust the stale air, and really help ensure that you have that primo indoor air quality that you're searching for. Another way that we achieve the superior indoor air quality is to use a 4-inch media filter on our furnace. The 4-inch media filter is actually a MERV 13 rated filter, which filters out everything, even up to the virus level. We all know how important it is to filter those viruses out of our house right now. So we don't use the standard 1-inch filter in a cold air return. We use that thicker and better rated 4-inch filter, and that is in the furnace cabinet. So speaking about indoor air quality, it's really important to keep moisture levels down and humidity levels down. So the HRV was one way that we do that. Having nice, big, operable windows is another way to do that. And the reason that you want to do that is you don't want to provide any opportunity for mold to grow inside the house. So speaking of that, the way that we keep all mold out of the house, or most mold out of the house, is to, during the construction phase, we start with kiln-dried lumber. We don't cover up that lumber until it's moisture checked and it comes down to an acceptable level, because you don't want to cover up that wood and provide an opportunity for wet wood to grow mold. The crawl space is really another focus when you're building a home, when you're thinking about indoor air quality. So it's very important to keep the air that's under your home, that could be moist, it could be humid, could be stale, and you want to keep that from getting inside the house. So sealing up the crawl space, providing passive radon mitigation pipe to make sure if there's any gases that are going to be bad for you underneath your home, be able to get those out through the roof, and there's no chance of them getting inside the house. So another thing that we focus on, we're talking about indoor air quality. So lastly, considering the wellness badge, we looked at light and you look at sound. And the idea behind that is to add extra insulation in your walls, use more efficient windows to keep noise from the outside from coming in and polluting the inside, and then using nice big windows, nice open space to get that natural light inside, especially during these long gray winters that we have here in the Northwest. Outside of the NGBS Plus badges that we earned for this home, we also earned the EPA's Indoor Air Plus certification. Secondly, we earned the Department of Energy's Zero Energy Ready Home certification. And what the Zero Energy Ready Home certification entails is the home is future-proof for taking the home down to a net zero home. There is pre-wire for solar. There is pre-wire for an electric car charger. We also have 100% LED light fixtures. We have very efficient systems, heating and cooling systems for both air and water in the home, and all Energy Star rated appliances. So we are ready for that net zero certification without the solar panels at this point. Water conservation is also very important when you're talking about green building. All of our fixtures, toilets have WaterSense certified stamps on them, which means they don't use a lot of water. We also have a hot water recirculation loop in our plumbing system, which means that any one of those fixtures, you don't have to wait a long time to get your hot water. A traditional vacuum exhausts that dirty air, that stinky air that really blows around your house, and really we're trying to keep that stuff out. So in our home, we incorporate a central vacuum that will exhaust all that vacuum air outside of your house where it belongs and not inside. Okay, so we know there can be a lot of misconceptions with green building or green built homes, but we'd like to take a second and bust some of those myths that are out there.
We'll start with myth number one. There's just not enough market demand for green built homes.
Yeah, and that's completely a myth, because most of our clients that come through looking for a new home are concerned about energy efficiency, but even more so, sustainability, durability, and most importantly right now is the health and indoor air quality aspect of a new green built home.
Mm-hmm. And we do have a stat that we found here. 61% of the National Association of Realtors reported that their clients were highly interested, or somewhat interested in sustainability.
Yeah, and the sustainability and durability, basically the longevity of the home that you're building, is really, really important to most buyers. And we're not going to forget about the health, indoor air quality, and the wellness aspect of a new green built home as well.
Yeah, and the 55 and older age group, they are the primary drivers behind this growth. But millennials are also increasing in demand with their commitment to sustainability. And as we know, millennials are the largest share of home buyers.
Yeah, our 55 and older group, they want that age-in-place design. They want barrier-free living. They want the durability in their home. But millennials really are looking for more of a holistic approach to green building. So they want all of those things wrapped up into one package in a new home.
Yeah, all the aspects of a green home. So we'll move on to myth number two, which is green homes are too expensive, or in other words, buyers are just not willing to pay that extra cost to get a green home.
Yeah, the fact is green homes do cost a little bit more initially. But if you look at them from a long-term perspective, and when you factor in life cycle factors and health and wellness factors, a green built home does make a lot of sense financially.
Mm-hmm. And home buyers are willing to pay that premium, is what you've found, right? For a healthy and efficient home, just as they would an efficient and safe car.
Yeah, exactly. So you really have to talk about and speak about what is important to your clients. And once you understand that, you can really focus on the home's green features and green systems.
Mm-hmm. And we found in a recent survey that Energy Pulse did that they found that 40% of home buyers say that they're very likely to pay more for a high performance home.
Yeah, in the long run, that high performing home is going to make up for that cost.
Plus, green certified homes often appraise higher than code built homes. And although it does vary market to market, on average, a home with high energy efficiency ratings can sell for around 2.7% more. So we'll move on to myth number 3, which is a green certified home does not necessarily mean a higher quality home.
Yeah, so you really have to watch that because a lot of certifications are self-certified, which means the builder just says, yeah, I built a green home. We prefer the National Green Building Standards third-party certified system. And that's where a neutral party comes in and they test and they verify that the home is built to really a higher standard. The systems are all tested. Indoor air quality can be tested. They will verify that products are durable. They will verify the life cycle of products and to be sure that they are sustainable. So there are a lot of things. We talked about that holistic approach where really building a green home, you need to look at everything in the home. And that third-party verification system is really extremely valuable in the end.
Yeah, I think that does provide a lot of value to the buyers when presenting them with a green home option. As realtors, one of the challenges of selling a green built home is overcoming some of these myths with our clients and being able to effectively communicate what their potential ROI or return on investment with their lowered bills, the durability, and just their overall health is the goal. And I think when comparing it to a code built home, the green built home is going to win every time in a tiebreaker.
Yeah, and my goal as a builder is to always be that tiebreaker. It's just a responsible thing to do, to build a better home that's going to last longer, it's going to be healthier, it's going to cost less to operate through the whole life cycle of the house. So yeah, green building is very important to me, and that third-party verification is also super important. So having people like yourself who understand what goes into a green built home and to be able to relay that to buyers is very important for me as a builder. We hope you enjoyed this segment of the virtual Green Homes Tour.
Thank you for joining us. Now get out there and sell some green homes. You build them, I'll sell them.
I'll build them, you sell them.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm going to get everybody on camera. All right. Ashley and Jared, thank you. I'm Michelle Diller. I'm a program manager on NHB's Sustainability and Green Building team. I'm going to be moderating the Q&A this afternoon. Thanks, Jared and Ashley, for the great tour of the Gladstone. That was great, and the opportunity to learn more about the badges, and congratulations to your firm on earning those badges. That's fabulous. And I love the part about breaking down the green building myths. That was a great conversation. Before we get started with questions from the audience, did either of you want to kick off with anything? I'll give you that opportunity first.
Maybe
if you wanted to ask the audience any questions
where they're
yourself.
from.
Yeah, well, we were having a conversation a little bit earlier. We were kind of wondering where the audience was from, kind of what the makeup of the audience might be, if they're builders, realtors, industry professionals, you know, who else is joining us today. So just some curiosity.
That'd be great, people. Everybody who's on the other side of the curtain that we can't see, if you type in what type of builder you are, and if we also we're curious about if you're from the East Coast, West Coast, the South, because there's different levels of activity, especially with NGBS building in different parts of the country. So, and I know that's not something that's on any of the registrations. So just kind of curious if you're willing to share that about what you're from. So feel free to type that in, and then we're going to get going with some questions. We had a question about if, and you may only be able to speak to your area because I know it differs in different areas, about tax credits for green homes. And when I say, when you talk about that, if there's any differentiation that you have between what the builder can pick up as a tax credit and what would go directly to the consumer.
Yeah, we don't get into a lot of that. We just refer people to their tax professional to ask those questions. I mean, there's a you know, a solar, a PV array federal incentive And I know there are some lenders that they'll provide a better interest rate to their buyers. But specifically here in Washington State, we kind of stay out of that realm and kind of refer people to their tax professional. At least I do.
Yeah, no, we're supposed to as realtors also.
Okay, fair enough.
So-
I know I can contribute just a little bit as far as that. It depends on where you are. There are some federal things. Right now, I know there's some federal incentives for solar, depending where you live. Like I live in Virginia, and there's some consumer things for appliances, for efficient appliances. You can apply for rebates. Florida right now has like a $2,000 builder tax credit for building green. So it really depends on the area you're in. And you, like you said, you need to consult your tax professional, and then also need to take a look at the credits if they're available directly to the builder, if you're a builder, or if it's something that the consumer would directly get. And then, you can decide with your business model, if it's a builder credit, about if that's something you want to pass on, if that's something you want to have in your negotiation with your sale. So,
yeah, regionally, we've also seen public utilities, power companies and stuff give credits for different Energy Star rated appliances, water heaters, things like that. So it really depends on, where you're at.
Yep. I'm about to get $100 back for the brand new dryer I just had to buy. So.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
It's worth it.
Made it a little less painful. Let's see, just give you some feedback before we go to the next question. People have put in some things about, let's see. Well, let's see, I've got to look at two things. I got to look at the chat and the Q&A. That's a lot to deal with. All right. Got somebody from DC, somebody from South Florida, somebody else from Florida, Rhode Island, a designer from Kansas City, somebody from Atlanta, Georgia. So we've got people from all over the place at the moment. So that's who's kicked in so far saying. All right. Let's see. Yes. And Cindy Wasser, thank you, from Home Innovation, has typed into the Q&A, if you haven't noticed attending, that if you take a look at Home Innovation's site with NGBS green incentives, you can also see the incentives or credits on green certified homes. So that's a great resource to check out if you're looking at building a certified home. Yeah. All right, speaking of certified homes, that's a lovely segue. So this home has the NGBS Green Emerald Level certification for the 2020, which is the newest standard. Chelsea, if you can put up the little chart that I made. I did a screenshot out of the video from Jared and Ashley. We just want to talk a little bit about NGBS, go into it a little bit deeper. This is one of the first homes in the country to get the 2020. NBS, and I just wanted to throw out that NHB research has shown that about a quarter of the builders across the country are getting to about bronze level certification with just their current building practices. They may not even know that they could, get the certification. And closer to about half are actually getting about gold in the water and energy efficiency categories. But from your chart that I pulled from the video that we've got up here, it's a significant bump to get to emerald. And you have to get to emerald in all 6 of these categories to get an emerald level certification. So I wanted to pose to you and ask, what would you say are the key strategies that are taking this home to that level of high performance for you guys? And any advice on what builders can be doing who are really looking to stand out in the market to consider incorporating into their builds? Do you have a couple key strategies?
Yeah, I mean, first you really need to know, your client. You need to know who you're working with and what really is important to them. It's the NGBS is really, I mentioned several times, it's a holistic approach to green building. And in order to hit that emerald, you have to hit emerald in, every chapter of the NGBS scoring tool. So it's very strict, it's very stringent, and that's why we like it. It's hard to do. But in the end, we think it's the responsible way to build houses, and you'll end up with a much better product in the end. To your question about strategies, it really starts in the pre-planning phase. So knowing your client, what's important to them, because there's a whole bunch of ways to get points in NGBS. So pre-planning and working with your rater verifier. I mean, that without the rater verifiers, we could never get to an emerald level. It's just so hard to do. So lots of conversation about what's important to those homeowners. How do we get the points that we need to get to where we need to go in the NGBS, and then making sure that the rater verifier verifies that your strategy is going to work to get to that level. So I think that's the most critical piece. The energy and water now, most states are conscious about conserving both. So it doesn't, the statistics that we put up, lots of builders are getting that because they're being made to get there by their local building jurisdictions. Code just, it's getting more strict, so code will get them there. But the, things such as indoor air quality, the operation and maintenance, that's again, working with the homeowner. Those things can take a lot more conversation, a lot more time to really get all the points that you need to, hit the emerald level in those two chapters of the NGBS. So yeah. I don't know if that answers your question, but really it's pre-planning, radar verifier, find out what's important to your client, and then, kind of know your area as well, because if you're from a resource efficiency standpoint, and product, knowing your products that you're putting in the house, that they'll be able to meet those standards. But it really goes back to the pre-planning with your radar verifier.
Okay, yeah, thanks. And I think I would kind of wrap that up as far as the pre-planning, the relationship with the radar verifier. They're also doing other homes for other builders. And so they can bring some of that knowledge that they have of maybe somebody else's lessons learned. So it's not a learning curve that maybe you won't have to go up, and they can share some of those best practices too. So that's a great relationship to have. A follow-up to that, it looks like we have is, how do you explain the value of green home certification to a home buyer that isn't familiar with it? And I'd say that's a question to go to both of you as far as somebody coming in to buy a house that you're building for them. And then as a realtor, somebody who's looking for a home to buy or one that you're trying to sell.
I think that you're right. That is a question for both of us, because we'd be doing the same thing, whether it's a new build where the builder speaking to a client that wants to build a green certified home, or if I'm selling a home to a client that's green certified. I think that the most important thing is just being able to educate them on the benefits of a green certified home. The durability, like in our video, we went over some of those myths. They're going to be saving money in their bills over the long term. And just really finding out your client's needs also, and being able to speak to that and educate them on those benefits, whether it be the energy efficiency of a green home or the ADA accessibility of some of the green homes.
Yeah, and really the health benefit too is a big one. So a new home certified to an NGBS level is going to be more healthy, and that's really in everybody's forefront right now. What they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I'd agree with Ashley. I mean, you can get into the statistics and the ROI of of the systems or the products that are in the house, but they're definitely there. We don't go too far into that. We cite some kind of general costs to build green. We say typically between 2 to 5% of the overall building costs are associated to green types of products or systems, or just the expense to verify and work through the NGBS process. But we don't go too far into, hey, this water heater is going to save you $300 annually because it's a heat pump up water heater and da 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 da. So
I think
so most eyes start to glaze over sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, I think most buyers, if they had the option and the cost wasn't a factor, I think most buyers would opt toward, why wouldn't you opt toward an energy efficient home that has all these positives to it? But I think that if you can also be able to communicate to them that if you're taking the right steps when going for resale value, if you're attaching that supplement form for appraisers, showing that it's green certified and having that third-party documentation, I think that's what's important. If they're concerned more on the resale side, which is what I found a lot of buyers are.
Yeah. And we've had a lot of discussions internally lately about the equation of quality with high performance. You know, if you're marrying that high performance is a quality home, then that can be a good jumping off point for the whole conversation about the value of green certification is we've got that quality baked right in.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that having a third party certified house, you're getting another set of eyes on your project. So it doesn't hurt at all. You know, inspections are good. Verifying is great. Having more people involved with your build, it just means you're going to end up with a better quality home in the end. So
Yeah.
a lot of value to that.
Okay, great. Thanks. Chelsea, you can take that slide down when you get a chance. That would be great. Thanks. Then we can get the little tiny boxes bigger. There we go. I wanted to follow up. We've got another question here talking about customers and, you know, the elephant in the room obviously is always COVID for the last year and a half. So since the onset of COVID, are you finding that, you know, a lot of buyers come in with their bucket list, you know, I got to have 3 bedrooms. I want these kind of countertops. I want the kids to be able to sealed off in a room where I can't hear them, whatever your wish list might be. Are you finding since the onset of COVID that the must-have lists have changed for your clients at all? And if so, are they focused on different areas or is it nuanced or what's been going on?
I would for sure. I mean, just with the year of COVID, people are more concerned with indoor air quality. They're more concerned with kids being at home, people working remotely in home offices with having not only a separate space, but the sound quality to where you can keep that in with the better insulation between the walls. You know, being able to work from an at-home office without hearing your kids in the next room or yelling and yes.
Yeah, or your spouse.
Yes. I mean, it's completely changed the way that we do things. COVID did. And not only that, but we live in the Pacific Northwest, and in 2020, we had all those fires also. And that I found is also a concern, especially for people moving into the area, looking for homes. They are concerned with the indoor air quality, not only because of COVID, but also because of everything that we experienced with wildfires last year.
And that's a great point. Yeah, because it's been an issue, unfortunately, up in that area. How do you have that conversation with them about what you're doing for indoor air quality, how that might protect them during a wildfire?
The statistic that I heard recently is around 90% of your life at this point in time, you're inside your house or inside somewhere. So talking about what's in the air that you're breathing inside, and if the air quality is bad outside, you know, how tightly sealed up is the house so that air is not coming in and contaminating your home inside. So we have those conversations about air quality all the time, you know, tightly sealed envelopes, efficiently, heavily insulated envelopes. And then, you know, the air exchanges, providing fresh, filtered, even conditioned, if you're using HRV, ERV, something like that. So really high quality indoor air, especially when there's, you know, we get seasonal fires, and we're dealing with some right now. Actually, just made the national news. So
I'd say that's because even that's a huge one, is the indoor air quality for buyers. This last year, we had so many, when we go to show a home during fire season, people they went out and bought the expensive air purifiers air filters that they'd have in their home just to be able to show it, because it was pretty bad there for a while.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the main concerns or things that a buyer does look for in regards to a green home.
I think that's a fantastic selling point up in that area. Unfortunately, that it needs to be, but I think that's a fantastic selling point. Speaking of all the filtration, a quick follow-up on that. You mentioned having the MERV 13 4-inch filter in the house. What type of residential HVAC systems do you need to be looking at for that, so that you don't have an issue with the pressure drop in the house?
Well, if we're talking about filtration, just using a good high quality filter. You know, you can find them in any of the big box stores and such. But just getting a really good quality filter. You can use you know, your standard furnace case if it allows for the 4-inch media filter. So it's pretty standard anymore. A lot of the HVAC installers include that. But if you're only building to a code standard, it may not have that. So a very efficient furnace, the minimum level of efficiency that we'll install is a 96% efficient, you know, air handler of some sorts. We in Washington State, we're using a lot more electric heat now, as opposed to natural gas or, you know, some sort of combustion style heat. Electric's cleaner, and, you know, the state is really pushing for, you know, low or no carbon emissions here, you know, in the real near future. So it's our energy codes are getting more strict, so we're using a lot more electric furnaces with heat pump, air conditioning and heating, you know, pieces to them. So filtration is very important. Fresh air, you know, exhausting that stale air, especially in the wet areas. Bathrooms and kitchens are notorious for, you know, providing that stale, humid, moist air. So making sure that you are recirculating, and recirculating efficiently is, you know, a luxury of an HRV or an ERV type of unit if you include that in your house. So yeah.
Right. And speaking of efficient, we've got a question about what are you finding to be more efficient, a tank or a tankless water heater? Do you have a preference?
This is a big conversation in our area.
Yeah. Well, so in Washington State, with our energy codes, they're getting more strict. Some of the most strict, well, maybe there might be another state or two that are more strict, but very stringent anyway. And they're looking at the combustion appliance and kind of eliminating that. And if you know, all of our tankless on-demand units are natural gas fired, so we're not using those currently in our market. We're using tank units that are electric heat pump units. So very efficient. And, you know, I don't know the statistics, and there's a formula that will assess the efficiency of electric heat compared to the efficiency of a gas style or combustion heat. And they don't, you know, that's above my pay grade right there. But we tell people that they're similar from a cost perspective for, you know, when you're heating water. And I do know that the ROI, we tell people that the ROI on a heat pump hot water heater is about 3 years they pay for themselves. So I think the statistic is they're about 300% more efficient than a standard electric hot water heater, jumping up to the heat pump. So the heat pump hot water heater, tanked version, on-demand gas version, you know, they kind of rival each other in efficiencies. It's just, are you producing carbon with the natural gas fired? It's not very much carbon, but they do, or not compared to the heat pump electric version.
Ashley, it sounds like perhaps you've got some experience with your buyers about what they like. Or
this seems to be, they always want to know that, you know, why is it tankless, or if it's not tankless and it's like Jared was saying, a hot water heater tank. They have this misperception that, you know, but it was tankless. And now that we have the new energy codes in the state of Washington, we're seeing people switching back to that tank. And that is just something that buyers do have questions on. I mean, you never know, right? You do, but that is something that people seem to be interested in when buying a home.
I think there's a misconception about if it's a tank, then it's not efficient.
Yeah.
So,
or even just, you know, there is a little, it seems so silly in the grand scheme of things, but they got used to how little of space the tankless water heater took up in their garage.
okay.
And I'd say that's the biggest thing that I hear from buyers now. Well, oh, it's taking up my garage space though.
Why is this
For
thing back
parking,
in my
yeah.
garage? I just got rid of it.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
Ah, that's interesting. It's like we got all these people trained that tankless is fine and it really works and you're
Mhm.
still get your hot water, and then technology changes and no, now we
Yep.
have this tank to put back. So now you get used to it again. And
From a water usage standpoint, I mean, if you install a recirculation loop, you're not, using and waiting on hot water at a fixture that may be across your house. So that's a part of green buildings, certainly, is water efficiency. So no matter what style of hot water heater you use, from a new build perspective, it doesn't cost a lot to install that hot water loop in your house. So you've got, maybe a very short lag time, second or two, to have hot water to any fixture in your house. So that's an important part of, if you're talking about water heating, that's an important part of it, from a conservation standpoint.
right. And yeah, I would imagine that's a big sales point too. Do you have to put multiple loops in the house? Can you go into that just a little bit more? I know you showed that in the video in the kitchen.
Yeah. So not to get into it too far, but there's just basically a big loop, a big circle, and that loop is warm water, and then the lines off of that loop are nice short runs to the actual valve or fixture. So from an efficiency standpoint, you don't want that hot water pumping through that loop all day and all night. You can set that on a timer, so it's only recirculating water really in the high demand usage times.
Excellent. So Ashley, I'd imagine that's a good sales thing if the realtor is knowledgeable about that and knows that when they're staging the house, then they can show prospective buyers when they walk in.
Yeah. And I think that's, yes, being able to really, because a lot of people are not, they're not aware, they're not educated on all of the aspects that a green home has. So I think being able to go and show them, especially in person, and say, hey, look at this, isn't that? And a lot of them are like, wow, oh, okay, that's cool. Or, depending on what they're looking for in a home, I feel like there's something for everyone in a green home that would appeal to them. They just don't know that it's there. Or
They don't know they want it until they see it.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Or talk about it. I mean, they may not be able to see it. It's pretty tough to show extra insulation, in your walls, or
That's true.
even that hot water heater loop. So being educated on what makes the home green, you can explain that to your clients.
So how do you start that conversation without, getting too technical, without going right into HRVs and R levels, and how do you explain it more on the layman's terms to get them interested?
I think for a client standpoint, you get to know them and get to know what's important to them. And then, based on some clients, the air quality is most important and they make mentions of it. So then that is something that I would educate them on, or, say, hey, are you aware this house has these aspects that will help with the indoor air quality? Or, we have, especially on the custom side, clients that really want, especially with our areas that are growing so quickly. A lot of the developments are near roads, noisy roads. They want to know that they're not going to be able to hear what's going on outside. So the triple pane windows, having a home that's really well sealed, the insulation, all of those kind of aspects, I would say, are the most that I hear on, at least. But I would say just whatever the buyers, what's important to them and what their goals are in a home, touch on those specific things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough to put a price on health. I mean, if that's something that it's critically important to somebody, then they want it and they're going to pay for it. But an NGBS third-party verified green built home, to build to the above code level, you're only talking 2 to maybe 5%, depending on what level of the NGBS you want to hit. But 2% more to have a third party verified home, and it's going to be healthier, it's going to be more efficient, it's going to be more durable, and all the things that is important to builders and clients when you're building a better home. It's all there. So like Ashley said, have conversations, find out what's important to people, and touch on those things, and you can really then drive home the value of that third party green certified home.
Excellent. And I think that is a good point to land on. We are coming up on time. Chelsea, I think we've got a slide or two. We want to be respectful of everybody's schedules and the time Ashley and Jared have already put in. All right, as soon as we get there, we go. Thanks, Chelsea. So our series is going to continue monthly in September on the third Thursday of each month. We're going to take a summer break in August, but you can check out our replay library at the link, or you can just search NAHB Green Home Tour replay and you will get the library to come up. And wanted to give you just a little bit. This fall, we've got several exciting tours coming up, and they've each got a unique high performance story. That's what we've been trying to do every month, is kind of go around the country, since we're virtual and able to do that, and tell different stories. So we've got something from Northern Virginia, talking about marketing and a customer relatable strategy with Stanley Martin Homes, and learn a little bit more about the rating process from the rating side with PEG LLC. And we're going to be going to Pebble Beach to be touring Bill Hayward's of the Hayward Healthy Home Scores, his newly completed family home. Going to talk with Bill and Jillian Pritchard Cook of Wellness Within Your Walls, and Shelley Lynch of Caramel Realty, however you want to say that, Caramel Realty Company, about taking a high performance home. Obviously, this is going to be on a huge grand scale, but how to scale that down to any type of home. So that'll be a great conversation. Also, greening the housing stock, greening the existing stock. It's critical to reducing the environmental footprint of residential construction. And we've got a lot of homes out there that are already existing. So we're going to check out a high performance remodeling journey from a mid-century modern home in Texas Hill Country with Heather Ferrier-Laminack of Ferrier Custom Homes. And we'll also later this year be joining Craig Foley, Chief Sustainability Officer of Lair Realty Partners and co-founder of the Rethink 39 group, and take a look at deep green in the Northeast. So on that note, I'd like to thank Jared and Ashley. We've got one more slide to pop up with their contact information. Wrap it up. There we go. I know I pull screenshots out of the videos. What can I say? Got to mix it up a little bit. So I'd like to thank Jared Martin of Urban Northwest Homes and Ashley Moala of the Heather DeFord Group of Cascade Southern's International Realty. Today's tour was recorded and will be available on demand at nhb.org in just a couple of days, and you will all receive a follow-up email with that link. In the meantime, if you've got any questions or any feedback, please shoot it to me at mdiller@nhb.org. And thank you for joining us. Thank you again, Jared and Ashley, and we hope to see everybody in September. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.